You're good to go.
Council, staff, thank you very much for joining us, and those from the public that are watching us by live stream, the council meeting of Wednesday, September 9th, 2020. In addition, we're very pleased to have Rob Cole and Sheila McCann with us tonight. Thank you for coming, both of you. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:01. And tonight's meeting is being held as a virtual meeting due to the declared emergency in order to keep everyone safe. We're taking this measure to stop the spread of COVID-19. Although this is a virtual meeting, we will attempt to record, stream live, and publish in accordance with Council's electronic recording meeting policy. Due to the pandemic and the requirements for social distancing to keep you safe, we are not able to allow the public to attend this meeting. Normally, by attending an open public meeting of the municipality of Southwest Middlesex, you are consenting to your image, voice, and/or comments being recorded. Anyone who is invited to speak may be recorded, and their voice, image, and/or comments will form part of the live stream and recording. Today's meeting may be streamed live as well as recorded and published on the Southwest Middlesex YouTube channel. Council item number 2 on your agenda. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any member of council declaring an interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move on to number.
I do have a conflict.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Michael, go ahead. Yeah, I didn't see your hand there. Yes.
Sorry about that.
The paperwork's been submitted, Jill, has it?
No, I just saw the accounts this afternoon. It's check number 044719 in the amount of $25.20 for a water key deposit return.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mike, very much. Okay. No more conflicts being shown. Then I will now move on to item number 3. Council, are there any additions to the agenda? Or staff? Yes, go ahead, Deputy Mayor Wilkins.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Mayher. I don't have an addition. I'd just like to speak to number 5 and 5.4, the Ontario Barn Preservation, if I could.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be taken out.
All right. Seeing none, yes, Councillor Cowell, I see your hand.
I wanted to speak as well to the recreation report, and I'm not sure if we will have Steve today to answer some of our questions, but I wanted to make sure there was an opportunity to speak about that. So whether it was moved or just dealt with during consent agenda.
Okay. Let's define a portion of the agenda in which we can put that in. We can put that under announcements or comments. Yeah, but we'll make sure that you get in there. Councillor Cowell, thank you very much. Any more additions? Then council, would someone entertain a motion that the regular agenda of council be accepted as presented with the opportunity for councillors to speak on the issues that they've identified? Can I have a motion for that? Thank you very much, Councillor Shouldice, seconded by Councillor Bartlett. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Council, item number 4 on your agenda, delegations and presentations. My agenda indicates there are none. No hands up or comments. We can move on to number 5, the consent agenda. We'll just take these, walk these through one at a time, and if you wish to speak to it, just raise your hand. Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, Security from Trespass and Protecting Food and Safety Act. Council is very pleased with this from Minister Hardeman for his efforts not only to protect farmers and truckers and their livestock also to protect those who are not familiar with a farm environment in terms of those protesting and things like that. There was a sad case where one was killed, and this legislation protects both farmers and those that are concerned about livestock issues. 5.2, Lower Thames Conservation Authority minutes dated August 20th. Just in reading those, council, I thought they were acting very responsible with the approval of a 1% increase in their general levy, considering the cutbacks that they faced. They're practicing good fiduciary responsibility with a 1% increase. 5.3, Strathroy Caradoc Improvement Plan and Downtown Master Plan, Notice of Public Meeting. I understand that some in council will be joining, that will be sitting in and viewing that meeting, and I suggest to all council that it might be a good orientation in terms of development in of that nature, and that's on the 10th and 21st, I believe. Strathroy advocacy letter to municipalities, the Ontario Barn Preservation, and Deputy Mayor, I understand that you wish to speak to that.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Yes, I do. I'll just take a minute of council's time. But if each of you have read this, it's pretty self-explanatory for sure. And I have to say, I agree with all of the bullets in this letter. Since we started severing surplus to the needs of the farm dwellings, I was probably one of the ones that was most vocal about leaving the barns in, even when it wasn't recommended to leave the barns in. And as you saw just a few weeks ago, I was suggesting to leave the silo in. You know, it's a part of our rural landscape and our rural makeup. We are an agricultural community and we're proud of it. And I just think demolishing these barns takes away from our history. And I really, I don't like seeing them demolished. They can be repurposed for many uses, and there's so many things today that they can be used for. So I will make the motion that we support that, send it to the appropriate government agencies, and I hope council will support it with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. A seconder for that motion. I see Councillor Cowell's hand up. Discussion, council. Oh, thank you very much for that motion, and thank you, Councillor Cowell, for seconding that. You know, a kind of a creative view on severances is probably one of the best tools in the box to protect some of these dwellings. As a farming operation, they may not be of value, but aesthetically and as part of our identity, they're important. And surplus home dwellings, if there is a barn that is not used for livestock, it certainly has its attributes to our municipality. No further questions. I'll call all in favor. Thank you. Carried. Five, safe reopening plan for recreation facilities. Comment on that? Yes, Councillor Cowell, go ahead.
I had a couple of parents reach out to me. One of the things they talked about specifically was a comment on how the children will have to prepare outside on the pavement for the games. And one of her concerns was that her son is a goalie, and as a result, because of the amount of padding that he has to wear, it's unsafe for him to travel in a vehicle to the arena to put the padding on, with the padding on in advance. And then to put his padding on, because he's a goalie, he has to lie down on the ground. And usually he would do so in a changing room to lie down and put his pads on. And I have no idea what any of that means, but I'm just trying to translate that on. So there was some concern with inclement weather or anything like that. And there was a bit of concern that this report had come so quickly. And initially there was supposed to be a recreational committee meeting at the beginning of this week. And understandably, with all the changes we've made, that wasn't a part of it. But it would have been, it was important for them to have, to be included with some of these things, because as parents and as people who regularly use the facilities, it's something for them to be able to contribute sort of these, hey, if it's raining or there's snow, how is my child supposed to put their equipment on? And it wasn't, so I reached out to other parents. I know that the Dresden arena is already open and they're already doing hockey, and they do have to get changed outside. So there was a bit of feedback there that what ends up happening is the goalies actually, the teams have 20 minutes where they can come into the building ahead of time to prep in a prepping area, and that time the goalies put their pads on, and the rest of the children are already dressed. So it becomes just the goalies who are impacted by that. And the other comment was that even in the outside area, what ends up happening is the children all clump together outside because the same physical distancing isn't perceived or contained. So there was just a bit of feedback that if we are staging these people outside, that there should be actual physically distancing spots, areas marked out to say, this is where your family will wait, this is where you will wait, or this is where you will get dressed. So there was a bit of feedback, understanding that yes, they do need to be outside because our change rooms are limited in space and make physical distancing difficult, pardon me. However, with some children like those who are goalies, asking them to get prepared before they come is really not super feasible. So it was just this idea that we'd like to have included in some of this, and that was missing in a bit of it. Some of these, you know, and I was hoping to hear from Greg about it. So I'm not sure.
Krista, I've made note of your concern. I'll make sure staff are aware of that. And we certainly don't, you know, we want to be reasonable about such things. And we certainly don't want anyone to lay in the snow to put goalie pads on. So I'm sure accommodations can be made for such cases. And when Greg's back in and I see Jill regularly, we'll have a discussion on that. And I'm sure that we can accommodate our users of our facilities. We want to ensure their safety. And I've got a note of that, and that's on my to-do list. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I missed that ECG meeting. I gave a notice that I would be absent with regret. And I hope that was passed on to the committee, but I understand they had a good meeting, and lots of things were discussed about our facilities and our safe opening. We are on 5-6 vouchers in the amount of $472,038.49.
Mayor Mayhew.
Yes.
Councillor Shouldice is.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
He can't see it.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Councillor Crothers, and Councillor Shouldice, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew, and thank you, Councillor Crothers. Will yesterday's provincial government announcement have any bearing on this opening? And do we have confirmation from our neighboring municipalities if they will be opening as well?
I'll let, it's unfortunate Greg's not here, but I'll hand that over to Jill. She knows the provincial correspondence that comes out regularly, and often I forward it to her. Jill, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Yeah, Greg and I went back and forth on this reopening plan. I shared it with the health unit as well, and they provided some feedback in a couple of different ways. We got some feedback during the ECG meeting that was held last Friday. As well, we got some feedback from the appointed staff reviewing facilities reopening. So we're in regular conversation with all of the directors and managers of facilities and recreation within the area. And that is one of the benefits of being able to work together and get together virtually, is that there's regular meetings every Monday morning on that particular group, but with different groups who are meeting weekly or bi-weekly. So we have got some indication of who is planning on reopening and as well as who is planning on not or not planning to until they get a certain level of commitment. So that information has been shared with us. So we've got some knowledge, but again, everything is subject to change given we have we're waiting to see whether or not the reopening of some parts of the provincial plan are going to close back down again. The decision yesterday from the province, as far as I'm aware, doesn't impact the reopening of our facilities. So we have the review from the health unit on both the arena as well as the Eckford Community Center for reopening to the public. So they were good with both, but offered that you know, there are some additional suggestions, including some of the things that Councillor Cowell just touched on with signage outside and making sure that parents know they're not supposed to congregate outside either and keep social distancing even outside of the facilities that we've got. I'm assuming that that's the correspondence that you're speaking about, Councillor Schuldeis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jill, very much for that, and thank you for the question, Councillor Schuldeis. Anything else on the safe reopening plan? We are at vouchers, item 5.6. 472,000. Thank you very much, Council, for calling Kristen for clarification on these. I appreciate it very much. Seeing nothing else, Southwest Middlesex Council minutes, item 5.7. The meeting of August 26. The minutes were circulated to Council. Any errors or additions? Therefore, Council will entertain a motion that Council for the municipality of Southwest Middlesex receive the consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.7 as information and action on the 5.4 letter of support. Someone entertain it? Yes, go ahead.
Mayor Mayhew, may I just ask if Councillor Schuldeis, are you recusing yourself? Would you like the 5.6 to be taken out and voted on separately?
Excuse me, Mayor Allen.
That would be the clearest thing. I would. I think that is the cleanest way to do it. If we could do that now, and then Councillor Schuldeis can participate in the rest of the vote. And I hear the voice of Martin Vink, Councillor Vink somewhere. And Martin, I can't. Oh, there you are on the phone. Yes, Martin, go ahead. You froze up on me, Martin. I'm not sure whether you can hear me or not, but unfortunately you're frozen. Jill.
Well, I see myself on the iPad.
Yep. Okay, I can hear you.
I've had my hand up for. Okay, I've been freezing out 3 times.
Yeah, I know you have some challenges there, Martin, and your good stuff to put up with it, but we're not ignoring you. You just that currently.
Mayor Mayhew, I think he's gone. So we'll see if he can get back on. So okay. Councillor Vink looks like he's gone from the meeting. Okay, and I don't know if we can give him some tech support, but we'll make a sincere attempt to get Councillor Vink back on. Jill, I will call the to a vote.
I'm back on.
Okay, Martin, we're going to address Councillor Schuldeis's conflict of interest, and then I'll allow you to speak after that. Councillor Schuldeis has excused himself from voting on one particular issue, and it was a check in relationship to a water key deposit returned for approximately $25. Council, can I have a motion that that vote should be paid? Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. It's seconded by Councillor Cowell. Councillor Schuldeis will not be voting on this motion. All in favor? Motion's carried. And before we adopt the consent agenda, I want to make sure that Councillor Vink is heard. Councillor Vink, go ahead. Councillor Vink has faded out again on us, I'm afraid. So I will ask to continue on. We have
Okay, thank you, Mayor Allen. This is the fourth time I've been blanked out. I really think we have to start looking at open meetings.
your concern, Martin. What was it? Council will entertain a motion that the consent agenda be accepted as presented. Thank you for moving that, Councillor Crothers, and seconded by Councillor McGill. All in favor? Any questions? All in favor? Carried, and we hope Martin rejoins us soon.
No, because
I got you, Martin. Be quick so you don't fade out. Yeah. Martin, I know you're. I hope you can hear me, Martin. But
oh, okay, well, am I the only one fading out?
yeah, I think so at present. But I can
This
hear
is
you
fine
really
time.
good now. You're good now.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
I
on your
see
mind,
that.
Martin?
But
Martin, the issue that you would like
okay,
to
well, I had a question. I had a question
then ask.
on vouchers 001. Yep.
We'll move on. We'll get back to vouchers, and Kristen's with us. We'll need the information from Martin prior to answering his question. Committee of Adjustments, item number 6 on the agenda. I have none. I'm sure council will be very pleased with that. Public meetings, number 7, there are none. And as we come upon number 8, our staff reports, we'll just go through administration. Fire, Jill, would Chief Hansen wish to speak at this time or later on in the meeting? He has no report, no
Right.
fire report.
Right,
Okay.
no report this
No
evening
fire.
for,
Okay, no, I see him on my screen here. I didn't want to overlook an addition. And we have the section B, 8B, administration, integrity commissioner, municipal ombudsman, meeting investigator services, and our contract, meeting integrity investigator, integrity commissioner, municipal ombudsman services. Jill, I'll let you carry this on regarding the appointment.
So I think the report was fairly clear that every municipality has an obligation to provide access to any person for the services of an integrity commissioner to investigate the code of conduct for council members. Additionally, council, you would also have an obligation to provide a meeting investigator services for investigations into closed meetings. If you did not provide that, however, the Ontario Ombudsman would fulfill the role of the meeting investigator. And you have the availability of a municipal ombudsman position as well. And so this is us tagging into the procurement that the county has undertaken. It was a joint RFP issued by 2 counties and provides that all the lower tiers within Elgin and Middlesex have the opportunity to join on. This municipality did participate in the original agreement, and I'm recommending that with the extension agreement that the county has approved, they approved back in June of this year for the extension, and just last night would have presented the extension agreement. So this is in follow-up to that. I would say we know that Mr. McDonald has provided services to the municipality in a couple of those roles, wearing the integrity commissioner and the municipal ombudsman. So council's had the opportunity also to have some presentation and education and training at the start of the council term. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the extension agreement.
Thank you very much, Jill. Council, I remind you to address the chair if you have a question, and the chair will address it to Jill. Any questions on the appointment? Just to mention, council, out of respect to all, there's a significant cost advantage by having Mr. McDonald fulfill that role. If we did not have him, we would be acquiring the services of a lawyer to shepherd us through any future integrity commissioners' reports. And I have suffered from his disapproval at times, but I've always found him very personable, and I certainly have some respect for the man. He is, I bear no ill feelings, and I think we would be served well with his appointment. Would someone entertain a motion that the recommendation be accepted, that council approve an extension agreement by law between Southwest Middlesex and Independent Resolutions for the services of Integrity Commissioner, Meeting Investigator, and Municipal Ombudsman? Thank you very much, Councillor McGill. I'm looking for a seconder. Councillor Deputy Mayor Wilkins, thank you very much. Any further questions? All in favor?
Mayor,
Yep, go ahead, Martin. Yeah, Martin, go ahead if you can.
Mayor,
Yes,
yes.
quickly, Martin.
Mayor Allen, I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead then, please.
Okay, I will be voting no. I think some of Mark McDonald's decisions have been very fair.
Okay,
I tried
fine.
to tell you, yes, I will be voting no to Mark McDonald. I believe some of his decisions have not been very fair.
Okay, yep, Councillor Vink, you're certainly welcome to your opinion. We don't discourage it, nor do we think any less of you. We know your feelings towards that, and each councillor can vote as his heart dictates. Any further questions? All in favor? Jill, I better do a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all opposed? 2 opposed. Councillor Cowell, are you abstaining or did you vote in favor? You're abstaining. Okay. All right. All opposed again. I believe that carried, Jill. Did you see that? So
Councillor Vink is no longer here.
Okay. We know how he is going to vote, though. He's indicated his vote. Councillor Vink, you're voting against this motion. Is that correct? Just nod if I'm right. Councillor Vink,
Yes.
you're voting against this motion.
Point of order.
Yep.
Our
Go ahead.
bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order state that if a person has not participated from the time a motion has been made,
Are we
time a
still
vote
on
has
the
been
Integrity
called,
Commission?
they should not be participating in the vote.
I think he was with us on and out. I would not say he's not, because he was with us on several momentary moments of reflection there. So the chair deems that he knew the motion was forthcoming and he made a statement indicating that he would not support it. So he must have been had some knowledge about the issue that was presented to the floor.
Having some knowledge and participating in all of it, this is against Robert's Rules of Orders and it's against our own bylaw.
So I hate to see him penalized for having poor internet connections. Jill, what's the ruling on this? I think council has a very clear understanding of what Councillor Vink's intentions were.
So the ruling comes from the chair, but if council would like to make a motion to bring that to council for a final decision to overturn the ruling of the chair, they can do so. The procedure bylaw amendment that council just adopted with respect to electronic meeting participation did include that participation would be allowed for those that were temporarily interrupted, but that they could not participate in a vote, that they were not present for the whole portion of the discussion. I
think the chair fully realizes that Councillor Vink, though the chair does not agree with the way he's voting, the chair sympathizes for the technical difficulty that he's had, and there is no doubt in the chair's mind the opinion that Councillor Vink has towards this recommendation. He's made it very clear. He set his agenda in advance, and there certainly can be a motion to overrule my judgment, but I have to live with the fact that I'm familiar with Martin's feelings towards this issue, that I do not want to see him penalized for living in the country and not having good internet and connectivity. And I feel good about my decision as to accepting his vote as no. That being said, if someone wants to overrule me, they're welcome to. Deputy Mayor Wilkins.
Yes, Mayor Mayhew, I'm just letting you know that with Councillor Cowell abstaining, that is an automatic no vote.
I realize that. Yep, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Yep, I'm sure Jill has done that. So Jill, we have Councillor Vink as a no, and Councillor Cowell has their hand up. Go ahead, Councillor Cowell.
I make the motion that we overturn the chair's ruling on this and
Okay.
that we bring that to a vote so that the rest of us can decide whether or not we would like this included in this instance.
You're referring to Councillor Vink's vote?
I'm referring to the fact that he is being included in the vote after the vote was already called and he was no longer in the meeting.
He advised, yes, just want council to be aware that he advised us that he was voting no. Go ahead, Councillor McGill.
I thought I counted the hands up, and did we not have 4 people in favor of passing the motion?
That's
And
correct.
1 abstaining, and either 2 or 3, depending on whether you count Martin. So the way I count it, the motion passed.
I'm going to let Jill be the judge on that. Jill, go ahead. And there is a motion on the floor. Has it been seconded? The ruling against the chair? Was there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks very much, Deputy Mayor. And yeah. And I'm gracious about this. That's why I'm thanking the Deputy Mayor on that. It's certainly a decision of council. Discussion. Councillor Crothers. Go ahead.
Through you, the mayor, I just now have a text from Martin. I texted him to ask him what his vote is, and it's no.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to see the text or whatever, but it's on there.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't need to unless other
No,
councillors.
I understand that. Yeah.
Council, there's a motion before to overrule the chair on this. I'll call the question. Is there any more questions that you wish to address to the Deputy Mayor or Councillor Cowell? Yes, Councillor Cowell, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I just have a comment. We have been in this pandemic situation for, I can't do math, but almost 6 months now. Many of us have made arrangements to be able to access internet to allow us to participate. I've increased my internet, and when I knew I would have difficulty having connection, I would seek out a better or more stable internet connection to be able to participate. And furthermore, there is the option always to dial in and participate over the phone and not have video. And the only difference would be that we would have to have every vote recorded as a result. So there are many ways to participate in this meeting. And as councillors, we are responsible for our own, and we are accountable for our own actions. So over this many months, we've seen many struggles, and no action seemingly has been done on the part of individuals to be able to participate fully in these meetings. And I think this is one of those times where we need to start acting by the bylaws we created.
Okay. Any other questions? Just the chair's only other comment would be that I believe that Councillor Vink was very much aware of what he was voting on. I think the subject, as you all know, is close to his heart, and he's expressed concerns in the past. And as I say, though I don't agree with his his dissent against the appointment. I respect his ability to do the very best he can under trying situations. Okay, I'll call those in favor of overruling the chair. Please put up their hand. All opposed to overruling the chair, please raise their hand. Motion is defeated. Councillor Vink stands. And what does that give us, Jill? A 4-4 tie?
So yes, it would be defeated.
With defeated with Councillor Cowell's abstention was regarded as a no vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
So
Go ahead.
Mayor Mayhew, at a future point, then you will want to direct that an RFP be issued for the services of a integrity commissioner and a meeting investigator.
Okay. Yep. We can do that. What's your wish now, Councillor Scholdice? Go ahead.
Make that motion.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Councillor Crothers? Okay, thank you. I've got it. Discussion, council? All in favor? All, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed? Can't vote twice, Mayor Gay. Yep. All opposed?
I don't think she.
Okay. Good. Motion is carried. Finance report from staff, there are none. Facilities and recreation, there are none.
Mayor Mayhew,
Yes.
we have a report on communications.
On communication? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. And who's giving that report? I lost Jill. Okay. Oh, communications. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yes, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. Council, communications policy and plan. Our corporate communication officer, Sheila McCann. Sheila, I'm sorry, I overlooked that on my agenda. I had too many scrolls on here, but the floor is yours, Sheila, and please take your time, and we look forward to your report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'll try to be brief. You have the report before you. The communications plan was recommended as something that was important. It was a top 5 priority in the strategic plan from 2019. Basically, the plan will be a tool for all of us, mainly staff, to use to ensure that we have consistent, transparent, and effective communications with all of our stakeholders, and it will affect all of our different types of communication, internal and verbal and printed. And we have made a few strides towards improving our communications. We're currently starting to work on a new website for Southwest Middlesex. That's one thing that we're quite pleased about. We're hoping to have something in place by the end of the year. And we've also improved communications by adding a Twitter account, a LinkedIn account, and those seem to be going well. And we just will have that to also gauge how our communications are going with the implementation plan. We can sort of track how we're doing with each different goal and achievement as we go along. And that's basically it. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Council will certainly open up to questions. Communication can be the cause of many problems if it's not properly done. So we're looking forward to the adoption of this. Any questions? Councillor Crothers, go ahead. Followed by
More of a statement than a question. Oh, through the mayor, sorry, to Sheila. More of a statement. I guess I'd like to congratulate you on a very comprehensive report and very thorough. And attending the economic development meetings, one of the primary concerns was communication, exactly that. And if you don't have proper communication between the public, between staff, council, whoever, it ain't gonna work. So again, very nice report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crothers. Councillor McGill, I noticed your hand up there. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, just along the same lines as Councillor Crothers, that I thought it was a very good report. And I think we have, we've made some progress on the communications front, what with the Southwest Middlesex What's New that comes out after each council meeting, and the newsletter that's going out quarterly to help get some information out to the people that don't have internet access or don't have computers. And it's a challenge reaching those people. But yeah, I think we've made some progress, and I thank Sheila for her good work.
Okay, thank you very much. And Sheila, I duplicate those kind remarks as well. Any further questions, council? I'll entertain a motion that council approve the Municipality of Southwest Middlesex Corporate Communication Policy and Implementation Plan. May I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Bartlett, and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Crothers. Any further questions, council? All in favor? Motion's carried. All opposed? Okay, yeah. Okay, Martin is still frozen up on us there, I'm afraid. Thank you, Sheila. We are on to staff report C, building. There are none on my agenda. Item D, as in Donald, finance, there are none. Item E is in Edward, facilities and recreation. There are none. And item F, Public Works. As I said, we're pleased to have Rob Cole with us tonight in place of Greg Storms, who couldn't be with us. And Rob, I'll hand the chair over to you. Rob, if you can walk us through item number 1 on Public Works, municipal office air quality.
Actually, Mayor Mayhew,
Yes.
Rob's going to speak to the following 2 reports.
Okay, and you'd like to speak to the first?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead, Jill.
And just to be clear, Councillor Vink, I'm not sure if he is continuing to be on the call. His picture is gone, so
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
he may again be absent from the meeting.
Okay.
The facilities, this could have been a report that was done under facilities and recreation, but we put it under Public Works because Greg took on the authorship, but this is not a new topic for council. And we also went through this report at the Emergency Control Group meeting on Friday to talk about some of the improvements that are going to be requested and why this report is in front of council. So you will recall that our former manager, Steve McDonald, spoke about engaging an engineer to provide the review of our existing system and in the municipal office and provide a plan for how we could move forward for improvements of air quality and air return. You'll note that this is obviously a big issue in the midst of a pandemic as well. And we have got the report back from Chorley and Bissett. And the recommendation before council is that council approves the implementation of the phase 1, which includes the system air balancing report and a readjustment of the outside air quality, and that we have project management undertaken by Chorley and Visit. The second phase of what it is that's being recommended, we would include in the capital budget for 2021 for council's consideration, with the recommendation that some of the funds that were received from the provincial government related to the pandemic and the impact of COVID-19 in the municipal sector be allocated towards this improvement. What we do know is that we have had issues with air quality in the office already, having to deal with mold remediation and take steps to make those improvements already. That's partially and quite directly a result of not having a good airflow through the building. Part of the findings from this report also demonstrate that it's in part because of the size of the HVAC system units on the building. At least 3 of them are oversized, which results in not having a good air exchange because they are too large for what it is they're providing. So they don't come on often enough and the air gets stagnant in the facility. So that's the report before council this evening with respect to the air quality. Not a new topic, couple of new authors on the topic though.
Okay. Thank you, Jill, very much. Questions, council, please direct them to the chair and I'll see that Jill can answer them. Go ahead, Councillor Crothers. I see your hand up.
Yes, through you, the mayor, to Jill. Went through extensive renovations, mold cleanup, and so on last year. I'm wondering why, at the time, none of this seemed to have been addressed, and this was the obvious cause of the whole issue to start with. So why are we addressing it now and not prior, at the time that the work was done before? Thank you.
Go ahead, Jill. Yes, thank you.
Through you, Chair. No, it's a great question. What I would say is that this was the understanding that was part of the issue, but what we had to deal with at the time was the remediation. So it was identified through that experience that airflow was not good, but remediation was the cost that we were dealing with at that point, knowing full well that addressing some of the air exchange will be something that we would have to do in the future. And this is why this engineering firm was engaged earlier this year to begin this work.
Okay, thank you, Jill. And Councillor Crothers, I was also pleased in administration's report that this will be kind of a phased attempt that we will go into budget discussions in 2021 to address some of the more significant issues as well. But we're taking advantage of COVID-19 money and we're trying to spread this over 2 budgetary periods as opposed to 1. Council, any further questions? Yes, go ahead, Councillor Scholdice.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'd just like to say that I agree with what Councillor Crothers just said. We did seem to put the cart before the horse, but I would like to make the motion that we approve the report and that we also approve the implementation of phase 1.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Scholdice. Is there a seconder for that motion? Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor McGill, thank you very much. Any further questions, Council, regarding the air quality? Yes, go ahead, Martin. Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Allen. My question was, as far as putting in new air exchangers, I think we put one new one a year or 2 ago, but further on in the report, it states about that we may have to do something to the envelope of the building. So would that mean that we would have to have different air exchangers again, depending on the tightness of the building? So my point is, are we spending good money after bad?
It was the report indicated that there was an observation that the HVAC on our building was oversized and decreasing our efficiency, and that we would look at that in the 2021 budget and consider it at that time. Jill, if you can provide any further clarity to Councillor Vink, go ahead.
I think that you've summarized it quite nicely, Mayor Mayhew. The review was fairly extensive by the engineers. They're providing what their recommendation are through a phased plan. And this was part of the strategy moving forward from what we knew was an issue with air quality in the building.
Okay, thank you, Jill. Councillor Vink, that we're taking a responsible approach to this, and we are acting in a fiduciary manner, and these discussions will come up in the 2021 budget talks when we tackle it, the HVAC, consider HVAC at that time. So we'll have an opportunity to re-examine, Martin. Okay, there's a motion and a seconder. I'll call the question. All in favor of Councillor Scholdice's motion? All opposed? Carried. Now, I believe it's Rob Cole's turn at the reports, trackless improvement options. Rob, can you take us by the hand and shepherd us through this?
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I assume that all council had an opportunity to review the reports. I know there was an added section as of yesterday. I've been working fairly diligently with Trackless to try and utilize our dollars and cents in the best way we can through through Greg, obviously. The initial about 3 weeks ago, we made the move to get the Trackless down to Pilsenberg to have it gone over to see just what it needed, get some needed repairs tidied up, and at that point they sent me back a very detailed list that is part of your report, detailing some fairly significant wear and tear on a 2003 unit that we purchased in 2011. Having said that, seems like an awful lot of money to put into the machine, and that list of items is obviously over the amount that we're asking for at this point. And it doesn't take into effect the framework, the cab, or any of those factors as well, included in that. So with some discussion with Trackless, and with the numbers being as high as they are, to really get this thing back into shape, excuse me, to go to that $70,000 or $80,000, try and rebuild this unit. I entertained the conversation with the sales rep, and we come up with the option that I came back with yesterday, discussed with Jill and Kristen, which I would have to recommend probably being the best route, because they're prepared to supply us with a unit at the cost of $5,000 a month. At the end of that period of time, whether we went the full winter with that unit or we only went till the end of the year, whatever monies we spent on the renting or the leasing of another unit comes straight off the top of the purchase of a rebuild, which, as you can see, a rebuild is $105,000. plus the air conditioning, and then your taxes, obviously. A brand new is about 150,000. Warranty is 100%, the same as a brand new for the rebuild. The way they do their rebuilds is they take our framework, they take our axles and our hydrostatic system and the engine, and that is all tore down, rebuilt, and reused. And that is basically why there's really no trade-in value to it, because basically they take all those components that are rebuildable, and when they're done, they're like new. As I said, the warranty on all of that stuff is the same as it would be if we bought a brand new machine. So the money being spent, I guess, and for the uses that we have at this point, and obviously the importance of the unit, definitely for the winter, for safety of our pedestrians, and the fact that we just can't be without a unit to do the job. I guess at this point, I'm looking for any questions or anything that are maybe concerns out there at this point.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob, for that report. You've done a lot of work on that. Rob, just to clarify to the chair, there's two options here, and did I discover in your conversation that you are leaning towards option 2? Is that correct?
I think it would be in our best interest, and I think it would be money best spent. From my conversations with Trackless, they're leading me to believe that this machine is wore out. There's an extensive amount of work that needs to be done, and at the end of the day, we would still have an old machine that is, you're going to have $70,000 or $80,000 tied up in it, and it's not going. I guess what I'm saying is, for a few $1,000s more, we're back to warranty, we're back to brand new, we're up to par with all the latest technology that that can go along with that. And I'm having talked to them, it opens the door up for obviously for some more uses and maybe some more options and equipment that we could purchase for for other jobs within the municipality as well.
Good. And any leasing payments are credited back to the purchase, I understand.
That's right, 100%.
Okay, thank you. Council, your opportunity to ask Rob questions. Any questions? Yes, I saw Councillor Cowell's hand first, followed by Deputy Mayor Wilkins. Go ahead, Councillor Cowell.
I was wondering how old the machine was, and if this is the machine that broke last year during our snowstorm, and then how long do these machines traditionally last?
This machine is a 2003. It was purchased in 2011. It was a used unit when we purchased it. The attachments that we currently use were all bought brand new at that time in 2011. I have the snow blower and the salter applicator up there as well, having them assessed as well. As far as, yes, the unit is the same unit that broke down on us last year, which did create, obviously some issues, and with it being that old, when the rad and stuff went out of it, which is what it ended up being, the cooling system for the transmission and everything, it's not like you can just run out and grab one. Unfortunately, Trackless is a single source outfit. We could have looked at trying to get the rad rebuilt, but in most cases they're so specific You know, it
20
seemed like
hours.
it was quickest to get right through trackless and be able to get us fixed up the fastest. So.
Okay, thank you again. Go ahead. It was Deputy Mayor Wilkins had a question, followed by Councillor Crothers. Yeah, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mayor Mayhew. So actually, Krista asked one of my questions. I was interested in how old that piece of equipment was. So Rob, you did say, and we see it here in the report, 100,000 for a refurbished machine, but you did also say the air conditioning is added on to that. Can you tell me what the cost, or tell council what the cost for that would be?
$5,000 approximately, and with that, it works. It's kind of a dual system. It's almost like a dehumidifier as well as an air conditioner. It has an added feature in there as well for the heating system. It takes moisture out of the cab, obviously, as a dehumidifier, which keeps the windows from steaming up / freezing up in the wintertime. So it does state in the one part of the report there that they do highly recommend that you put the air conditioner on. It's not a huge expense, but at the end of the day, it's not just an air conditioner, I guess, is what I'm trying to stress. It looks after keeping the windows clean, defrosted. Yes, there's a defroster in it, but you know, the defroster, it just kind of helps clean the windows. This takes the moisture out of the cab so that you don't have that buildup in the wintertime.
Okay. And so Rob, the cost of a new machine would include that, I assume, in that price of 150.
No, it's over and above that for the air conditioner. Okay. It is definitely an option.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Councillor Crothers, followed by Councillor Bartlett.
Yes, through you, the mayor, to Rob. Do you know what the odometer or the hour meter is on that machine, Rob?
At this point, no, I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to get that from Trackless because it is there at this point.
Okay.
It does have a fair number of hours on it. If I gave you a number, I would certainly be guessing.
Okay. Did it ever come back last winter, or was it down for the winter?
Oh no, it was down for approximately, I think, a week and a half or so, and we finished the winter out with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Bartlett, followed by Councillor Scholdice.
Through you, Mayor, to Rob. If we bought new, is there any trade-in value on the machine or any of its equipment?
From what I gathered from Trackless, it didn't sound like it. The best trade-in we were going to get was utilizing the parts they could rebuild to put back into our machine. I can definitely entertain that question and get you an answer. I guess I honestly didn't ask it because the way we talked as far as the rebuild and whatnot, they certainly led to me to believe that that's the way most places are going, unless they own a very large number like the city of Toronto or something. They obviously buy new, but it sounded like a lot of places were going with this rebuild system with warranty and everything being the same as new. So, you know, you're saving $40-some thousand probably at the end of the day. So,
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Scholdice, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'd just like to say that considering the parts list for the rebuild, I agree that current machine should be replaced. But I wonder if we're not getting much for trade-in value, if we shouldn't be putting this out for tender if we're going for a whole new machine, considering the cost of it.
Yeah. I'll entertain that question back to Rob Cole, but I believe it's single sourced because there's not many people that are making this machine. I think that the Tilsonburg company are one of the sole suppliers of this unit. Rob can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll hand it back to you, Rob.
Yeah, that's true through you, Mayor. It is like Trackless is their own entity. You can go through like John Deere and get a tractor, a small miniature tractor with attachments, but then you're into being wider than what the Trackless is. The Trackless is built for the sidewalk work, especially. I don't know of any other company out there that specifically builds sidewalk machines. I know there's lots of attachments and one thing or another you can buy for lots of small utility tractors and stuff like that. But there again, you get into sizing and getting something that's got the power in order to be able to do the job it needs to do, and still fit on the sidewalk, I guess.
Thank you, Rob. Just to add to, go ahead, Councillor Vink. While I got you on the air, I'm going to take your question.
Oh, thank you, Mayor Allen. A couple of things. As far as Wardsville and Melbourne, they have private contracting. Was the private contracting ever looked into this situation here? Because the reason I asked that is I'd like to see the same service throughout the municipality, because we are one municipality.
Yes, I'll allow Rob to answer that, but just to set a threshold on that question, Councillor Vink, we have considered using this same machine. Obviously, we cannot buy one for each of the hamlets and the villages, for every hamlet and village in Southwest Middlesex. In order to share this machine, to float it to Wardsville, it would require, first of all, it would be floated perhaps 2, 3, even 3.5 days after the snowfall. And that was one reason why we could provide better service to Wardsville if we contracted the job out. And it was looked at our cost, the time aspects of it, but primarily the service level that we give to the sidewalks in Wardsville is on a higher level if we contract the service out. Because of the miles of sidewalks in Glencoe, the machine, is close to app and we can float it, but we found we just gave better service if we contracted it out. Rob, can you expand on that at all? And Councillor Schuldice, I see your hand. I'll take your question following Rob's comments.
Through you, Mayor, as far as other contractors, we certainly didn't look into contractors to do the village of Glencoe, if that is the question that I'm being asked. And definitely, as the mayor indicated, the service level would be very poor in my eyes to be able to try and get that machine. I mean, we're all of one day, and that's if you're using the plow. If you put the blower on it, it slows the machine down to probably half the speed, because you're dealing with a snow blower. You're not dealing with just a blade that you're pushing snow with. So your time constraints are even higher if the snow is deep and we have to use a blower. To be able to get to Wardsville and Melbourne as well with that same unit, yeah, we'd be, on average with the plow, we'd be 3 days getting there. By the time we got 2 to 3 days, definitely, because you're 1 day in Glencoe getting over all the sidewalks. So you'd be into Appin in the second day, which is the way we do it. And then you would be later on in the day before you got to Wardsville, which would end up being your bigger center. Not saying you couldn't go there first, but you're still you're at least a day later, which in a lot of cases we we're getting complaints now, so.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor McGill. Councillor Scholdice has the floor first, and I'll follow you after Councillor Scholdice is over. Go ahead, Councillor Scholdice. Mike, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Yes, go ahead, Michael.
Frozen, I think.
Yep, I think so. Councillor McGill, go ahead if you're there.
Through the mayor, Rob, will this new machine have any more capacity than the old machine? I mean, it'll obviously be more reliable, so that'll be a good thing.
In capacity, do you mean like horsepower?
Well, just
Like, I mean,
the ability to get more sidewalk cleared faster. Or will it be the same?
I don't think we can clear sidewalk much faster than we do. You know, it can be a guessing game after a snowstorm on sidewalks, just the same as it is roads out in the country, as to, you know, where they are, and trying not to be going across somebody's front yard as opposed to, you know, down the sidewalk where we're supposed to be. The sidewalks, you know, we have wide sidewalks, we have narrow sidewalks. If they were all 5 feet wide, you know, you could zoom right along, you know, a lot better than what we do now. Having said that, you know, we're not going to replace all the sidewalks tomorrow, so I think our guys are doing sidewalks as quick as they possibly can. You know, there's obstacles out there. There's you know, we have hydro poles that are extremely close to sidewalks. We have guide wires that we have to try and get underneath, and I've tried to get hydro to elevate those so that we have more room to be able to get through. But you know, those kind of things don't seem to be on their priority list.
Yeah. Yes, I think I'll allow one more question. Councillor Vink, you're with us, I hope. Yep, go ahead, Martin. I saw your hand up.
I believe that was Councillor McGill.
Okay, all right. Councillor McGill? Any
No,
questions?
I already asked my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I didn't have my hand up anyway, Mayor Allen.
Okay, I thought I saw it, Martin. Rob, thank you very much for that report. Rob, one of the most prevalent complaints we get on snow removal on sidewalks, and I'm sure you'll be aware of it, is the damage it does to grass areas, the sod, so to speak. And, you know, I know that if we just use a V-plow, we're going to have substantial damage to sod. This machine mitigates that to some extent. It's a little more user-friendly in relationship to sod.
I wouldn't want to make that promise for the simple fact that there's a lot of factors that play into, unfortunately, us damaging sidewalk sod. One being frost.
Yes.
If there's no frost, then obviously, you know, we do nothing but make messes. It doesn't matter how careful we are.
Yeah.
The other big factor, as I already mentioned, is our sidewalk width. We have a lot of 38 and 42 inch sidewalks out there, and I think our machine is hard pressed to narrow up to 42 to begin with. So
I can understand that.
those are our two major issues that we run into. Last winter was a bad winter for sidewalk edging because there was absolutely no frost. You know, we run into this. If we can get things froze up at the beginning of the year and it stays froze, you know, the amount of damage we do is minimal, and most people don't even realize we've been out there, and the plow runs on the edge of their property, and it's not an issue.
Council, we've made Rob work very hard on this report. Questioning is done. We will, there's two options in front of you, Council. The chair will entertain a motion on how you would like to proceed. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, Mayor Mayhew, thank you very much. I will move option 2.
Thank you much. Would someone entertain a seconder for that? Councillor Crothers, is that correct? Councillor Crothers, you'll second that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, any further questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Rob, very much on that. Item number 3, Rob, on the agenda is Glencoe Public Works Yard, the salt dome roof replacement. I understand that council that 3 people were asked to quote on this. We received 2 responses, and I believe the cheapest was the recommendation before you. Rob, can you expand on that anymore?
Just that the roof is definitely in dire need of some attention. Unfortunately, those roofs, being the way they're built and the way the buildings are, the life expectancy on those shingles just doesn't seem to last as long as we'd like to see it. The 2 quotes that we did get, we're not that far apart, which was very nice to see. The ACO roofing, just so that you're aware how they got involved. I reached out to Middlesex County, wanting to know, who they used, because they have so many domes. So I thought it was advantageous to see, just who they used. This company was highly recommended, so that's why I approached them for a quote as well. That kind of gives you an idea that they're certainly in the ballpark with everybody else. The other contractor, point blank, told me that he was pretty sure that he wasn't going to be able to get here anytime soon, and that he just had way too much work. So that was his reasoning behind not submitting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, council, any further discussions? Councilor McGill, I see your hand up.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I still had a question from the previous report. I was unclear on whether or not we were including the air conditioning. And I didn't know if anybody else was unclear too, or whether it was just me.
Rob, can you address that quickly, Rob?
My recommendation would be to definitely include it. It's a dual purpose, as I said before. It works both in the winter and in the summer. It's not just an air conditioning unit as they classify them or title them as. So it becomes that dehumidifier in the summer, or in the winter, I'm sorry. Takes the moisture out. It makes the environment better for the employee, I guess.
Yeah, I think for a safety sake, I think your visibility would be different, would be much better.
Certainly. Yeah, certainly.
And particularly with condensation on the glass, particularly. Go ahead. Second question, Councilor McGill.
Well, I'm okay with including the air conditioning, but is that everybody else's understanding too?
We were
that
under
we
that
were
impression, yes.
included the air conditioning?
Yeah, I was under that impression. Yes, Jill, I see your hand up. Would you like to clarify this?
I'll just maybe ask Rob as well. So the recommendation was part of the cost of this for the leasing, which will be applied to the refurbishment, comes out of this year's budget, a portion of it. And then however council decides in 2021 for the capital will be part of the 2021 budget deliberations. So that's where I would expect the decision. I would expect we're going to make the recommendation associated with the air conditioning for the very reason that's been discussed a few times here tonight, but that it would be part of that budget decision.
Yeah, I think that subject was not spared any time for discussion. So I think there was a fairly significant understanding what the option number 2 was. Rob, I don't want to cut you off there. Rob, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just one other thing that just came to mind. The Trackless has committed a machine. They have put a machine aside for us as well. That was something else I did mean to mention, to ensure that we have something to get us through the winter. So, just just food for thought. Trackless has, you know, they're looking for a commitment from us, but at the same time, you know, they've made that commitment to us up to this point. I mean, if I call them back and tell them that we're not, then they'll go ahead and sell it. But I thought it was good of them to commit a machine to us.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, last question on this. So Mark, or Michael, is this in reference to the plow? Go ahead.
No, it's not, Mayor Mayhew.
Okay, is it with regards to acceptance?
The salt dome replacement.
Salt dome replacement. I'd like to move on to that. Yes, and that Maxville Construction be awarded the tender.
Yes, I'd like to move that if I could.
Yes, you certainly may, and seconded by Councillor Cowell. Thank you. Any questions, council? All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, council. Mr. Cole, thank you very much for coming and visiting us tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're looking after us and taking us by the hand on that. We appreciate it, and your services you provide Southwest Middlesex.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
We will ask Andrew Neely to come before council at this point. Item number 4 is the Robinson Drain, Section 78 improvement. It's a follow-up to Section 78. Andrew, can you shepherd us through this?
Hello, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yes, you will see on the maps that I had included that the Robinson Drain spans concession 2, lot 18, concession 3, lot 17. The top end of the drain is in Southwest Middlesex, and it goes through the village of Newbury. And you will see that we had received the request in February. I had sent notice to the Conservation Authority in May that we had received the request. As of when I was writing this, there was no feedback received from them. They did respond eventually in saying that they would just like to be kept in the loop with what was designed. And July 8th, there was July 16th, we had a scoping meeting, and no one was in attendance. So we were unable to gather any new information that we could provide to the appointed engineer. And at this point, the recommendation is to appoint Spreet Engineering to increase the capacity of the enclosed portion of the drain, which, if you look on the map that I had included, is outlined in blue. It is possible that this could mean running another pipe next to the one that's there to increase the capacity.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Council, any questions you wish to post to Andrew? Go ahead, Councillor Vink, to the chair.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. To Andrew, you mentioned a virtual scoping meeting. So a lot of these drains, we don't seem to have any reply back. How does that work? For instance, a lot of these are in Newbury, a lot of these ratepayers. Do they get a YouTube where they can hook into directly in the mail, or how does that work?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, what we did was we had sent a notice to the village of Newbury with the instructions of how to link into the Zoom meeting, very similar to the way that this meeting is being held. I was the host, and it was just Greg and I that sat there. So they were given the opportunity. The way that it works, because it is another municipality, we send the notice to the clerk, and it is up to them to send it to the people within the watershed.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, for answering that. Any further questions, council? If there's none, there's a recommendation before you. At your convenience, could I have a mover and a seconder?
So
Moved by
moved.
Councillor Crothers and seconded by Deputy Mayor Wilkins. Last call for questions. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, Andrew. And there's one more before you, I believe, the Cavallard Drain, Section 78 improvement. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you. The Kevlar drain is on concession 3, lots 2, 3, and 4. And this drain has had many patch jobs that have been done in the past. So you will see on the report that I had sent a notice to the St. Clair Conservation Authority with regards to their input in May. No feedback, and still no feedback from them on that. July 16th, a scoping meeting was held, and it was actually, we had reasonable attendance, and we did gain some information that we could pass on to the engineer as to options of if sections of the drain could be abandoned and be taken over by the individual property owner. But ultimately, we were able to gain some information from that meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Council. Any questions regarding the Cavallard Drain to Andrew? Yes, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, through the mayor. Andrew, can I ask you, I think if we approve this, my understanding of this, the engineer won't proceed to design a drain until he hears back from the Conservation Authority and gets approval that they're okay with him going ahead. Is that correct? Is that the way it works?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, usually what happens is before council sees the report, the engineer will send a draft drawing of what he is proposing to the Conservation Authority for them to make comment. Given the fact that this is an enclosed drain, their comments tend to be somewhat limited by comparison to if it was an open drain.
Thank you. Last call for questions, Council, on the Cavallard Drain. Failing none, failing which, if someone would entertain a motion that Council appoints Sprite Engineer under Section 78 to act to produce a report on the Cavallard Drain based on the request received in February of this year. Councillor Cal, are you moving that? Yes, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Vink. One more question, last call for question. Seeing none, all in favor? Recommendations carried. Andrew, thank you very much. You make that easy for us. We appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, council.
Yep. Good night.
You too.
Council, just for your convenience, if any councillor wishes to take a 5-minute break, just please raise their hand if it's necessary. No problem at all. The chair will recognize it immediately, and we'll take a break without protocol, without ceremony. Notice of motion number 9. I don't see any on our agenda. Correspondence and petitions. No action is required. And Jill, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these. Unfinished business, item number 11, Council. I have none. Yes, Councillor Vink, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I did have a question on vouchers, if you recall. And so I would like that answered if I could.
Yes, you could. Yep. That we were delayed there. Yeah, by all means. You were just about to give us the voucher number on that, Martin.
That's right. It is 001 001, and it's for $54,871.38. And my question is this for the January incident of Victoria Street pumping station?
Kristen, go ahead. Is Kristen with us? Yes, go ahead, Jill. You're muted, Jill.
Mayor,
Yep.
Mayor Mayhew, Councillor Vink, did you ask Kristen ahead of time? Because she may not be able to access the vouchers given her location right now. So we can get back to you, given that you've provided us with the voucher number.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted this actually in a public meeting. $54,000 is a lot of money. So I feel that the public should know about this. I can have the answer in the next meeting. That's fine with me.
That's fine. No, Martin, we're not going to let your request go unanswered. The chair has offered you a significant amount of respect tonight. So don't question the chair on our ability on how we're treating you. We will make sure that you get an answer to that question. Kristen, I will ask Kristen out of respect if she does know what the voucher is. Are you with us, Kristen?
I am here. Sorry, I was just trying to look it up quickly. It looks to me like they're all, like there's a number of separate invoices. So it's it looks like it's all of the June Aqua invoices. So that'll be for water and both wastewaters.
Yeah, I would, you may be right that that's part of our services that Aqua provide on a regular basis. I know that they are significant on a monthly basis when you factor it over 12 months, but that's a bit of a guess, that answer to Martin's question, Kristen. So we'll have to do some homework.
There are definitely several invoices, but I can get the detail of them.
Okay, and Martin we'll get those emailed to you. Kristen will assess that account. She will get you the information, and we'll make sure you get it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We're back. Unfinished business was none. New business number 12. Nothing there that I have recorded. County Council conference and updates. I have nothing at present. Does any councillor have any committee to report? Yes, go ahead, Councillor Vink.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Yesterday, I attended the Brook Fire Services fire meeting, and I have an update on that, Mayor Allen, if you have time for it.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the Brook Elmiston Council has decided to close the Inwood Fire Hall. And meanwhile, in July, Don Euphemia Township has made a motion that they want to pull out of the fire agreement in 6 months' time. And also during the meeting, this was before Inwood Fire Hall was closed, Brook Elmiston Council asked for a modernization and efficiency review, which is a lot of pages here. And I've gone through it quickly, and I believe Jill, Jen is going to send you a copy, but otherwise I can give you a copy. It also mentions Southwest Middlesex, and it has some very good points in there. They look at the whole fire situation in Brook Elmiston with the 2 fire halls and everything like that, and public education and equipment. So I think there's some pertinent information in there for us as well.
Thank you very much, Councillor Vink. We're pleased to represent us there. And by all means, just drop that in Jill's mailbox or get it to me, and I'll see she gets it.
If I could add, I'd
Yes.
like to keep a copy myself, so this will have to be photocopied or.
We can arrange that, yeah, or maybe perhaps Jill can request it from the clerk. Go ahead, Jill.
Yep, I can request that from Janet Denkers. That's fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll leave number 13 conference updates and committee updates. Number 14, comments and announcements. I don't believe there's any announcements at present, unless N. And we will allow any concerns. Council, I remind you that when I ask for comments and announcements, that comments are not an opportunity to debate with staff an issue. If there's something you would like to bring to the council's attention for further study and study by staff, so be it. Are there any concerns? Yes, Councillor Vink, go ahead quickly. Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. As you well know, residents on Ontario Street are very unhappy with the flooding situation there. And they're also unhappy with the response. The ditch is not working properly. You know, I've been in the agricultural background all my life, and it's not working properly. And I would like to see it more work done on that area.
Well, you take that up with Greg when he comes back, and Andrew, and I can assure you that staff are aware of some of the concerns and the dissatisfactions expressed. We know that Wardsville has some significant stormwater problems, and it's going to be an expensive solution, and it's not going to be a fast solution. But they're on our radar. It's being discussed daily, and I would strongly suggest you pick up the phone over the next towards the end of next week or first of next week. Talk to Greg in a courteous manner and ask him how he's progressing on it. And I'm sure he'll be able to tell you. But we're very much aware of the council, and my iPad's burning up too. On that. I have received dozens of emails on the very same topic, and I have discussed that with Greg. Jill, go ahead there. Jill, you have the floor.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. So for council's information, we have invited the engineer from Spirit who's worked on a draft proposal for the Wardsville stormwater plan to the next council meeting. For him to make a presentation of that and the implications that would be. But as all members of council know, surface water does not have a right of drainage. So, you know, any work we've done has been to just try to provide a little bit of assistance. But we're into a situation where you're trying to create improvements for people without making it worse for somebody else. So I think that the message has been pretty consistent from staff out to the public related to what it is that we have available for us for our tools as the municipality and what the public has available to them for drainage matter. So certainly addition drains are an option, and those are something that are used in some of the urban areas as well. I know that in Appin there are a number of municipal drains that some of the residents have tied into as well. They're participants in that. But what we're proposing is council consider an overall stormwater plan. That's why we asked for the funds and trying to work to make some improvement in the Wardsville area.
Okay, thank you, Jill, very much. Martin, you'll look forward to that report at a future council meeting. Any last call for comments and concerns? Seeing none, we'll move on, and you certainly can approach staff at any time, Martin. We're number 15 closed session. We're about to move into. We are going to be discussing labor relations or employee negotiations.
Mayor Mayhew, sorry to interrupt. Do you want to take the bylaws right now?
I can. That would accommodate you. It sure can, Jill. No problem
Okay.
at all. So this will accommodate those watching and can get to other activities. Bylaws 16.1 through 16.3. Bylaw or 16.1, the extension agreement, independent resolutions bylaw. I don't think that'll be necessary to do now, Jill. So we'll omit that one. Communications policy bylaw as presented by Sheila, and the confirming bylaw of September 9th. So it'd be 16.2 and 16.3 if someone would wish to move first, second, and third reading. Councillor Crothers has moved the motion, seconded by Councillor Scholdice. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Jill, for pointing that out to me. And we'll back up to 15 at this point, and we are discussing labor relations or employee negotiations, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, personal matters about individuals, identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees. Specifically, the matter relates to the following: labor relations or employee negotiations, drainage service agreement, fire chief hiring process. Would someone entertain a motion that we go into closed session at 8:41? Moved by Ian Crothers, seconded by Councillor Bartlett. Discussion? In favor? Carried. And council will give Jill the necessary time just to make some arrangements to make sure that we're off air.